wants to go for. Horror. Pain. Sadness. Fame and love. Mostly love. We had him only through the spring of his life. There'll be no summer nor fall for David Carl Allison. But we'll hold what we have close and dear and in our hearts and minds for a long, long time to come. Fare thee well, Davy. Fare thee well.
Seldom are we graced by someone who fills our lives with joy, excitement, compassion, and friendship. We, the friends and fans of Davey Allison, were honored to be associated with one of the most competitive and successful drivers in the history of motorsports, and one of the finest young men we have ever known. Thanks, Davey, for gracing our lives with yours.
Out at Riverside, I guess Davey was maybe 14, 15 years old, and I was driving for Junior, and we had a really fast road race car, and it had Bobby tore all to pieces because he and I always had a real thing about who was going to win Riverside, you know, and so he had Davey come down to our car, and Davey had a little old magnet taped in the center of his hand, and somebody had told Bobby we had aluminum quarter panels on the race car. And so Davey, he was walking around, he had his rubber kind of sliding along beside the car, and Junior spied him, and Junior said, "What's that little so-and-so doing anyway?" And he ran over and he grabbed Davey's arm, and he turned that hand around, and he had that magnet taped in the center of his hand. And I'm telling you right now, poor old Davey, it wasn't all that big anyway. He shrunk down to nothing. And the Junior hauled him into the NASCAR office, and Gasaway said, "Boy, which car are you signed in on?" And Davey said, "Well, I'm not really signed in on a car." "Well, how'd you get in this garage area?" "Well, I came with my daddy." "Well, if you want to keep coming with your daddy, you better stay down there beside him." And Davey, he always laughed about that. We was always kidding each other about that magnet trick.
To get in a car and be capable of winning Talladega the first time he ever got in a car, I think speaks very, very highly of his talent.
I liked how he raced. He seemed to be a nice guy. I never met him, but I think I'd like him.
I tell you, the most fun I had with Davey is fishing, and he is competitive bass fishing. We've hooked several big fish together in the same boat. We fished a few times together. Matter of fact, the one I can remember most of the time, Neil Bonnet and I, and he went on a lake fishing together, and I'd catch one, David would catch one, Neil would catch one, and was all arguing about whose was the biggest and all that stuff, and that was a fun day. I think that was a more relaxed Davey Allison, away from racing pressure and everything, and we had more fun that day, I think, than any other time we've been together.
Generals. Two of my favorites were Jeb Stewart and Nathan Bedford Forrest. These were guys that lived on the edge, that loved the exhilaration of a cavalry charge. That's the kind of guy Davey Allison was. He lived on the edge his entire life. He loved race cars, he loved airplanes, he loved helicopters.
But I remember Davey when he was just a kid. His dad had an American Motors deal. They raced Matadors out of their own shop, and Davey was probably 15, 16 years old. He had a little old Gremlin, big tires and loud muffler and all that stuff, and he just worked his guts out on his dad's race car. He's just like his dad, had all that grit and determination, and it was an uphill battle at that point. So as you watched him, you said, that kid's going to race.
Last time I was here at the Poconos, he stood out there with his little baby boy by his car, you know, signing autographs and everything.
But unfortunately, I guess the last thing I remember him by was when I won New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, and I slowed down for the victory lap, and he pulled up alongside me and raised the visor up and gave me that big high five, like, job well done, and I never thought that'd be the last time I'd see him.
He would always find a time every week to sneak up on me and goose me, and it'd scare me, but it'd sure make him laugh. And I remember that, and I missed that this week.
Probably the biggest thing I remember is at Atlanta when Davey's running for the championship. I didn't have a shot at the championship, and I cut a tire down and ended up spinning and hitting him and tangled him up, and he lost the championship because of that. And I was knocked out for about 45 minutes, and Davey wouldn't leave the infield care center until he found out I was all right.
Just watching him on TV every week, we got to be interested in him. He was a real fighter, and he really impressed us. He was like a family member to us, and we never even met the man.
You know, he and I both started racing at about the same time, and you know, we'd go racing Friday nights at Birmingham and Saturday nights at Montgomery, and you know, Sundays at wherever. And
most of his memory for his courtesy is his driver, an outstanding driver, and also that he's still #1 in everybody's hearts.
The smile that Davey always seemed to have on his face, the time that he had for people, especially kids. It's countless times that I saw him, the kids around, and he acted like they were his own, whether they were or not. And I think that's the unfortunate thing about this whole thing, are his two children that are going to miss a great dad, because he was fantastic. But he always had a joke and a smile on his face, and that's the way I'm going to remember Davey Allison. I hope you will too.